And that's usually about the amount of caffeine that I'm having.
So you have more
right now.
caffeine than I do.
How many Monsters do you drink every day?
Normally one.
I love the way that you said that. Don't ask any further questions. Normally one, Your Honor, and I'm sticking to it.
Why are we getting so personal?
How much coffee? Do you drink a lot of coffee in the morning?
We split a pot.
Okay. Your answers. All of my cop senses are going like way, way off. You're like, this motherfucker's lying. We got to get him into the room right now and get the lights on because this guy's full of shit.
You all set?
I'm all set.
You got your dark jeans on. I got my light jeans on.
I got my dark jeans on.
Got my dark jeans on. I put my light jeans on. It's really just whatever jeans are in the drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a question?
Yeah. How often do you wash your denim?
I don't wash it very often. No, probably twice a month, maybe. That would be a stretch, I think.
How often do you wear it?
I guess I don't wear denim. I've only got 2 pairs of jeans.
Okay.
And truthfully, the majority of the time that I wear them is sitting right here recording podcasts.
Yeah.
So they're not really, being worn.
Abused.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not deniming.
I'm not deniming them very much.
Anonymity. It's what was the Finding Nemo? Anemone.
Anemone.
Yeah.
How about you? How often do you wash?
I throw a pair. So I basically get back from jiu-jitsu Monday morning. I pick out a fresh pair after I shower. I put them on. And then I wear them from like 7:30 a.m. to like 4 p.m. in my office. Right. And because my office,
your in-home office,
my
right?
in-home office.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's in the basement. So it's a little chillier. So like you can't get away with shorts.
Yeah.
Right. It's too cold. And that whole like physics thing of like cold air goes down, hot air rises.
Mm-hmm.
So cold air goes down. If you're in the basement, it's colder.
It's all cold air.
It's where all the cold air is. And then I think I wear them like 3 days, 4 days. It just depends. If I look down and they look dirty, I'm like, oh, let's put these in the wash. Sometimes that decision is made for me.
I was going to say, I think the real question here is
how
often are you actually washing your clothes?
Oh.
Right? That's the real question. That's what the listeners want to know. I
am not the purveyor of washed goods. It's not my normal role. It's not that I don't do it, like especially if Jamie's gone, right? She'll do all the laundry before she goes on a trip or something like that, and then I try to like keep up with it poorly. Sometimes I like to just fold, right? I'll just fold. Like if there's like 3 piles of laundry on top of the table, I'll just fold it all.
Yeah.
So I don't mind doing that. I don't mind. Yeah, I don't know. I don't do a lot of laundry.
I do all of it.
Do you? You do my laundry? No, you don't do any.
No, I don't do all of it. I do next to none of it.
Next to none of it?
Yeah.
Do you put away your own clothes?
Sometimes. Yeah. Most of the time the process is, dumping the clothes on the bed and then we're folding them up and putting them away from that point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's been a point of animosity in our relationship.
Okay.
It's been one of those things that we've had to learn how to communicate and navigate. It's the silliest of silly things. And truthfully, I don't think it's actually a silly thing. I think it's actually a really big issue.
It's a weekly thing.
Well, it's not just like the perspective of laundry being the issue. I think it's how we divvy up roles because of, the way that it's all laid out for us in society and culture and men and women and what women do and what men do in the house and all those kind of different things. So I do my best. That's not even true. I'm consciously...
Listen, I appreciate you honestly calling it out right off the bat. I do my best. Nope. That's a bold-faced lie.
I know what my best looks like.
That ain't it.
I'm not giving it. But it's in the forefront of my mind, and it's something that I consciously make an effort at to where and obviously we're talking about our in-house maids that we've hired. That sounded terrible.
Not me.
I was trying to make a joke, Stephanie, not about you. I was trying to make a joke where, of course, we weren't referring to our wives that are doing all the laundry. I was talking about the robots or something, Steph. I wasn't talking about you, not the in-house maid that we've hired. It sounds fucking terrible. We're going to edit all of this out. You'll never see this. So, my amazing, incredible, gorgeous wife does the vast majority of the laundry. However, it's something that I have made a concerted effort to be a more active participant.
I bet you'll be a little more active.
I'm going to be a lot more active. She might actually get to see my best from now forward, from this time forward, right?
For a solid.
Yeah.
Solid few
I'm going to
weeks.
be taking over laundry from now on, whether I like it or not. But I try to do more because it's asinine to think that I just sit around and, she does all the laundry and takes the responsibility of it. So I do a lot more of the folding, a lot more of the putting away.
Yeah.
I don't know how the we got onto this. You, you. This was your fault.
No.
You asked me about
just
denim.
talking about pants. I just want to know about your pants.
Ben got me in trouble.
That's really what we should. That's the underlying, hey, what question can we ask that'll get the other one to answer to get us in trouble with our wives? No, I mean, I get that. It's definitely, Jamie does a majority of it. There's no doubt, right?
Yeah.
I try to assist and help wherever I can.
You kind of had the excuse. I mean, you're traveling all the time.
I travel quite a bit, yeah. So
right? It's obviously the laundry's not going to get done when you're gone.
Yeah, and it's not going to sit, right? So
I'm sitting here all day. I don't go anywhere.
There's no excuse.
I literally sit
just
10
look
feet
at
from
it.
the washing machine,
You're like,
and do nothing about it all day long.
what about?
I gotta start traveling again. Tease it, baby. I'm not going anywhere.
Right? That's really you get yelled at if you stay, right? You get yelled at if you go. Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah.
Do you guys fight about it?
No, I don't think so.
Ben, we got to do better.
Yeah, God.
I think we're both going to be doing the laundry from now on.
No, it's I definitely as soon as if I see it, right, if it registers, I do my best to help out. Because we also have the kids, right? So the kids put away their laundry, and it's expected, as part of their chores, hey, or their, I want to change this. We call it routines right now. I heard this the other day, their habits.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
healthy habits for life.
Yeah. But they take all their dirty clothes. They don't have dirty clothes hampers in their room. When you're done, it goes in the dirty clothes in the laundry room. So if I see it and I'm like, oh, hey, there's nothing in there right now, I'll throw it in, right? If I see, I don't fold clothes, and I'm probably the worst when it comes to putting clothes away, because a lot of my clothes, I wake up early compared to, Jamie wakes up super early too, but I'll just walk, I'll wake up at 4:30 and walk into the laundry room and grab the top rash guard and the top shorts, and I'm like, and I'm on my way to jujitsu.
Yeah.
Right? And then they just get washed and they get put back on the pile. I just take them out of the pile. But I do my best to help out with some of that stuff. It's definitely not the thing that I fix the washing machine.
Right. I take care of that too.
I take care of that.
I fix it. I install it when it's, there's something wrong with it. I do that.
I do all that
jazz.
stuff. Yep. I hung up so I do that stuff.
Yeah. Which is a very integral part of the system.
It is. Right. You got to have it.
Definitely got to have it.
Right. So there's that.
We came up with a hack because, honestly, it's one of those things too where, she doesn't like doing it all the time. It's
no, I have no doubt. Yeah, nobody.
Luckily, it's just, the two of us for the most part. Asher obviously is still around and she's still doing quite a bit of his laundry and everything as well. But for the most part, our laundry load has been cut significantly as the kids have moved out and gone. And it's pretty easy to upkeep or maintain. I think we need to get off this subject,
right? Because you're over here just putting words out there. So,
right?
I know
it's really easy, actually.
Yeah,
it's not
she
too
doesn't
hard.
do a lot.
It's not that much time consuming to it, but no, we definitely make an effort to do it together. But we came up with this hack a while back that I thought was really helpful because it was like the meticulous thing of folding all the towels and putting all the towels away and all of the, you know, folding underwear and all these kind of different things. And it was like, there's a lot of stuff that we don't even waste time folding anymore. Like when we have washcloths clean, we just have a bin for clean washcloths in our closet. So we're not taking time to sit and fold washcloths. Just throw them in the bin, right? In the
who cares bin. If it's because a washcloth is 1, 2, right? And you took something that you could easily just go, like that, or you
crumble
could
that thing up and throw it in them.
Yeah, the stack of washcloths is going to get knocked over at some point, anyways, right? So it's going to get ruined. So I think the bin with the washcloths is a good. I hang most of my shirts.
Yeah.
Right, so my shirts all get hung up. The downside is we go through a lot of laundry because it's not uncommon for Jamie to wear 3 things a day, 3 outfits.
Well, that's her choice, and she better be
washing
it is,
right? And so I try to do my best. I'm helping by just wearing the same pants every day.
That's why we like Wooly. That's why Wooly sponsors this podcast, because
you don't have to wash it as much.
Is more durable and lasts longer and breathable, so you don't have to wash it as much.
God
so there's an added benefit. We're going to be wearing a lot more merino wool because I think somebody's going to stop doing my laundry. So. You're going to see me in denim a lot more.
Yeah, a lot more. I'm going
to start with a Canadian
tuxedo. What other things do you do?
What other things are you not doing, you worthless fuck? I do dishes quite a bit. That's kind of my main gig. Try to keep up on the dishes. Stephanie definitely does, you know, she's much better at maintaining kind of the overall cleaning of the house. It's not something that I prioritize too much in my day in, day out.
Yeah.
Obviously the yard work. Taking care of the yard. I was out raking leaves the other day because it was a nice day.
Yeah.
Finally busted out the rake.
That's good.
Yeah.
I do the yard.
I pick up after the dog, all the dog shit. Yeah.
We have fields. So it's like, I haven't picked up dog shit in 5 years.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I wish I didn't have to pick it up, but our yard is just small enough that if we don't pick it up, then she's running around in her own shit. So.
Yeah, I get that. I do the outside. I do a lot. I like the dishes, and Jamie and I, we do have a point of contention, because there's like when I load the dishwasher and then the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do a lot of reorganizing. I like come to the dishwasher, open it up, and I'm like, oh, that's not efficient.
Yeah.
And so then and she's like, why are you redoing the things that I've done? I was like, well, because it's wrong.
That's why the battle lines are drawn there at the dishwasher.
The dishwasher. Battle lines are drawn with the dishwasher.
I think you know you're really married. Like, that's when you know you're out of the honeymoon phase, is when you start fucking fighting about the dishwasher.
Who's loading or how it's being
loaded.
Yeah.
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 It's when you've transitioned into the next phase of marriagehood.
Marriagehood?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What's after the honeymoon phase?
I just told
Resentment.
you. Resentment. It's fighting about the dishwasher.
The dishwasher, yeah. I do a lot of that. It's hard because, like you said, like I travel a lot, right? So I try to help with the cooking as much as I can, but it's not a common thing.
I do most of the cooking.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we don't cook a lot either. It's usually a meal, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a week at the most.
Oh, yeah. We're
then just eating leftovers.
We're probably cooking 4 or 5 times a week just because we've got the kids.
Though,
yeah. The dogs, I clean up because we got that new puppy. We got a new puppy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't tell you that.
No,
I thought it's because it's not my dog.
Yeah, when did you guys get the new dog?
It's like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's it going? It's going.
Yeah.
Is it a puppy?
We're not sure. It was like in the so it's one of those like. It was from the Humane Society, so they brought it in, and it's got a lot of energy, and he's a bit of a short king, right?
A short king?
Yeah, he's like Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Right? He's like, and Leia, like our other dog, Leia, who is a Alaskan Husky, she's a street dog, but
from Alaska.
From Alaska, right? She
ventured down.
Yeah, ventured down. She's an adventurer. But she's a bigger dog, right? She's a tall dog.
Yeah, she's got good long legs.
Good long legs. She probably weighs I think she weighs like 65 pounds or something like that.
Yeah.
Tiny head, little brain. But the other dog is like, he can just walk under her.
Okay.
Right. But he's kind of like he looks like a combination of, I don't know, like a lab and a basset hound. Like he's kind of a weird looking dog,
Got
right?
a little mutt in him.
Yeah, definitely a mutt. But they were like, oh no, he's a puppy. You're like, all right, but he kind of has like a gray face. And you're like, are you just a really hyper old fuck? Or are you just, because he's also white.
Okay.
Right? You're like, or are you a year-old puppy, who keeps pissing in my house? I don't know.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, but Jamie's super happy because, we had Stu, who would hang out in Jamie's office with her all day long. And he was just like, I'll just lay in here and hang out. Leia is not interested in hanging out with Jamie. And Leia is supposed to be Jamie's dog. Leia prefers me, which drives Jamie nuts. So she was like, hey, I want another dog. And I was like, all right, fine. So we went and found this dog. And so he does a great job. He hangs out in her office with her all day long. And he's super good with that. He's already destroyed a bed.
Like his dog bed?
His dog bed that we had in his crate.
Sounds like a puppy.
Yeah. Pisses. He's got the walking peas.
Nice.
So like you'll just see this zigzag piss line through the entire bedroom, and you're like, what the fuck? Like you weren't peeing on something. You were just walking and letting it go, fucker. Right. Yeah. So we're overcoming.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun age.
It's super fun.
I'm surprised you're not you're like, yeah, I got to get on the road again.
So I leave on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So, because I do have a trip coming up, and then we'll see really probably by the end of the month, I'll know what my travel schedule will start to look like with a new job.
What have been your favorite dogs over the course of your life?
Ooh.
Because you're a dog guy, right?
Yeah, totally. Had a bunch of dogs. We had a I think he was an English black lab. So it was a smaller, more like a hunting style black lab.
Okay.
His name was Bosco. He was a good dog. He was one of those dogs, like you ever see one of those giant Hershey bars?
Yeah.
He ate one of those.
Like the 10-pound bag.
Yeah, like a 10-pound Hershey bar. Had the shits for like a week. Didn't kill him.
To kill a dog.
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, not fine. He shit all over the place, but he was a good dog. We only had him for like.
This was growing up?
Growing up, yeah. Like teenage to semi-older adult. It was a kind of a good experience for him. My aunt, who had a bunch of dogs, she had like 6-7 dogs all the time, different times, rescue dogs and all this different stuff. But she found 2 dogs on the side of the road. All right, had them all checked out. We got one lady, his sister, who was with him, went to stay with my aunt. And it was great. Well, we had him for like 3 or 4 years, and then we were homeless. So we went and lived with my aunt.
Yeah.
And we brought the dog back. And then the next houses we went to, we couldn't have dogs. So we had to basically be like, hey, like, you got to keep the dog. So we only had him for a couple of years, but he was a good dog. And then I was in the Marines, so I didn't keep a dog during that time just because its girlfriends had dogs, but I didn't have a dog. And then I got a American Mastiff. I like big dogs.
Yeah.
And his name was Cash. And I got him. He was a retired stud dog. Great dog. Unfortunately, like the hard part is like they don't live super long. So I think he made it to like 8. But at his prime, he's 185 pounds and, was 6 foot something standing on his hind legs. And
they're big dogs, man.
Like I joked about it once, and he was super calm. Like he was with the kids the whole time. Like Lincoln would go pull his jowls up, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
When we were at the gym, I had him at the gym with me once, and I had this. I think it was like a 105-pound kettlebell, and I had his collar just on it. Like I wrapped it through, hooked it up to him. He was like, "Hey, bud, just hang out right here. We're gonna work out." He's like, "All right." Somebody walked in and saw him, and like, "Oh, Cash is here. Hey, Cash!" And he got up and just walked over. Really never noticed that there was a 105-pound kettlebell tied to him, and just walked over, dragging this giant kettlebell. And he was like, "What's that noise? Like, what the fuck was that?" He's a great dog. The downside is he as he got older, right before it was time for him to go over the Rainbow Bridge, he had incontinence, so he just couldn't control his bowel movements. And there's nothing like a 185-pound dog just randomly shitting. He'd be laying there, and all of a sudden be like, "What's that?" And he'd be like, "Somebody shit my pants," right? We'd go out. He'd walk around and be like, "Yeah, man, I just don't have to poop." And I'm like, "All right, dude, I swear to God, if you shit when we get upstairs, I'm going to lose my mind." He'd take like 4 steps up the stairs, and be like, "Oh, there it goes," and it just shit falling on his ass. He'd shit in the back of my truck, and just like, "Oh, this is just getting bad." I felt bad for him, but we eventually had to put him down, and then Stu was another like regular dog that we just found.
Found him?
Yeah, I mean, it was somebody else who had a crazy story who needed to get rid of him, so we took him, and he slid right in with the family, and everybody was like, "Oh, Stu's here," right?
What's the new dog's name?
So his name's Oliver. We call him Ollie. Have you met the Madonna's dog, Rocky?
Yes.
I have called him Rocky twice.
Okay.
Same kind of energy.
Okay.
Right? That like
yeah.
lot going on. Just gonna run around and bring chaos. Yeah. So I've called him Rocky twice. But his name's Ollie. Or Oliver.
Yeah.
He's getting there. What about you? What's your favorite? Are you a dog
Definitely
person?
a dog person.
Definitely a dog person?
Yeah. And I feel like I've spent my whole life with dogs.
Yeah, because you had a pack of dogs, right?
I did have a pack of dogs for a while. It was growing up, we had like early memories, which I don't even know if I actually have any memories of this dog. I think I do, but they're like really, really faint memories.
You think you have memories of the dog?
Well, it's like I know because I know of it's the family dog growing up. It was a red Irish setter. Is that
okay? Setter. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Her name was Nutmeg, and she lived in the backyard. And the memories that I have of her are just like the faintest of, because we had her very early on.
Okay.
And so I remember seeing pictures, and of course I knew stories about her and everything like that. So I'm like, I think I've got memories of her, but they're super faint.
Gotcha.
And so that would have been the first dog that probably was there when I was born.
And Nutmeg?
Nutmeg was her name.
Did you name it?
No. It seems like it was my dad's dog.
Okay.
Or at least that was like the tone of it, right? She stayed outside. I mean, terrible, probably, conditions.
Yeah.
Living in the doghouse, chain, stuck on the chain all day long and stuff like that. My family growing up was not good caretakers of dogs.
Gotcha.
Like I feel like my mom probably just dealt with dogs. She probably didn't really like dogs. I don't even know because my mom, she doesn't like cats either. I don't know what the fuck my mom likes when it comes to animals, but
goldfish.
Goldfish.
Fucking
so we had Nutmeg for a while, and then after that we got this little poodle, small dog named Pokey, and we had her pretty much my entire childhood into teenage years.
Yeah.
I had Pokey for a long time, and then she passed. I grow up, move on, move out. And then in my early 20s, during my first marriage, got some Huskies. A buddy of mine that was working at the Mexican restaurant that I was working at, he had gone up to Idaho and gotten some Huskies from a breeder up there.
Mm-hmm.
Brought them back to his house, same old story where they had some babies. And I went over and got a couple of the babies out of the new litter. A brother and a sister named Timber and Eliza. And they were incredible dogs, super, super good dogs. Had them for a few months, probably until they were like 6 or 8 months old, and then went back over to my buddy's house and took one of the other dogs because he had Timber and Eliza's mom and dad. I don't remember what their names were, and then he had their uncle. So I went and got that dog. His name was Jack, and he was my favorite dog.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
Best dog.
He wasn't he was
he wasn't the best dog.
He was, as far as behavior goes, he was well behaved in a sense, but Jack had the type of life where I learned a lot about the kennel that he came from, that they all came from, because the parents of Timber and Eliza, as well as Jack, they were all related, but they came from up in Idaho.
Yeah.
And the lady that had this, it was essentially a puppy mill for Huskies.
Yeah.
She used to be involved
That's what most breeders, I'm pretty sure, are just puppy mills.
Yeah. And she was involved in sledding circuit, the dog mushing circuit for a while. And the only reason I found that out was because after I got my dogs and started to learn about Huskies and mushing and everything like that, I got connected up with it was this mother and daughter that lived up in Colville, Utah, that had a full, like a huge kennel, 30 plus dogs, but they were doing it the right way. They weren't a puppy mill. They were very much legitimate in regards to the way that they treated the animals and everything like that. So they were a great source of information and training and all sorts of different stuff. And I totally got into mushing with the dogs and everything like that. And at one point, they had a dog that they had loaned out to this woman for breeding purposes and then had never gotten him back. And so it was like they were trying to still find this dog and see if he was still up there. So I went in undercover up to Idaho to meet this woman on the off, like under the facade.
Pretense
that I was there to kind of look at some puppies, but the whole purpose I was there for was to see if Hank was there. To see if, in fact, that their dog was still up there. So that was my time as a private investigator.
I was like, was he there? Like,
I don't think he was. It was hard to tell.
Because they're Huskies and
they all kind of look alike. And they had showed me pictures of Hank, so I had a really good understanding of what he looked like. But I was also like, this woman had a ton of dogs. And so I'm like there walking around her,
property.
yard. It's just property with all these dogs chained out. So I'm walking around trying to see all the dogs. And like I had this little pocket digital camera.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was back during it was like way before cell phones or anything. We had cell phones, but nothing with decent cameras on them. So I'm trying to like slyly take pictures as I'm walking around, trying not to let this lady catch on. It was so silly, but it was fun. I don't know if they had Hank or not. But back to Jack. So all my dogs came from that place. And Jack had enough of a life where he had been hit quite a bit and was just kind of like a mean, pissed off, grumpy guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I was over at my buddy's house once. And bless my buddy's heart, right? He was not the greatest dog owner either. And so he did a fair share of abuse when it came to Jack as well. And between all the dogs that he had from the litter that my two dogs came from, as well as some of these other dogs, he just had too much to do. And it was in a small yard in this subdivision. So it's not like a place where, you should really have this many dogs anyways. So I told him, I'm going to take Jack. And he's like, okay. So then I just took Jack. And Jack was my dog. Like he tolerated my family. He didn't really like anybody else outside of the family.
Yeah.
And he loved me. Like I was his guy. He was my guy. So like when I would go out, because I used to not just mush with all the dogs and do the whole 9 yards. Jack was the lead dog. And then Timber and Liza would be behind him. At the most Huskies I ever had was 4. So I only ever had a 4-dog team. But like when I would go out just hiking with them, so like in the summertime, I would go up into the mountains and hike with all of them. Let them all off leash and just go, and we just go for the nice big hike. And Jack was always just kind of hanging out by me. I used to sleep, like when we'd go camping and stuff like that, he would be my pillow. I'd sleep on him. And he was a good dog.
That's good.
Yeah. When I, it was terrible too. It was really sad when I got divorced. This is a sad story. Actually, I don't want to get into all of that shit. It was tough. It was a tough transition during that time period because I still had all the dogs, but I wasn't, because the divorce happened and I couldn't stay at the house and the dogs were there and I didn't have a good place and all these kind of different things and scenarios and stuff like that. But those were my Huskies for a long time. And then when Steph and I got married, she had a dog named Angel who was a pit mix. She had a little bit of boxer in her. She was mostly pit. And Angel was like her name was perfect because she was just
the best
dog that ever was or ever will be. Like I loved Jack. Jack was my dog. Yeah. But like Angel was the most incredible dog ever. She was such an incredibly, like, not just well-behaved in the way that she, but all in all, she was just a great, incredible dog. And we had her for just before we moved to Tennessee. Okay. So we had her for like 18 years.
Wow.
And
what kind of dog was she?
She was a pit.
Oh, wow. It's an old pit.
Yeah. And before we moved, we ended up having to put her down. And it was the same thing where she was
just getting old.
Yeah, I mean, she had like, she kept doing the thing where she's like, I think I'm going to die. And we're like, oh, I think she's going to die. And then she'd be like, oh, just playing. I'm alive. Everything's fine. And then we'd get like 6 more months of her acting completely normal. And we're like, well, I guess we were like, she totally straight up had to have had a stroke or something at some point, because it was like she was fine. And then suddenly like her back legs just stopped working.
Oh, man.
And we're just like, well, I don't know what's going on. I guess this is just what happens. And then they started working again and she was fine and normal again. It was very, very strange. Weird, She just went through all of these like roller coasters of kind of health scares and stuff like that of trying to, but she fucking lived forever, man. She was a great dog. We still have her ashes. We got her cremated and her ashes are up on our mantle and everything like that. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Woolly. Most fabrics today are packed with synthetic materials and microplastics that shed off into the environment as well as into your skin.
And that's why we love Woolly, because their gear is made with natural merino wool. No synthetics, no microplastics, just high-performance, sustainable clothing that's going to keep you comfortable any season.
Woolly's merino wool is breathable, moisture-wicking, and built to last. Plus, it's naturally odor-resistant, which means you can wear it longer and wash it less.
And right now, Brave Men Dare listeners, and I'm talking about you guys, can get an extra 15% off. So check out the link down in the doobly-doo. Make sure you use that promo code BRAVE, all caps, when you're checking out of getting some of that fresh, high-quality woolly gear.
Woolly. More wool, less plastic.
Yeah.
And then we've got Roxy now.
Yeah.
So,
It's hard with dogs, especially like when because you can't communicate with them, right? I mean, that was the problem we had with Stu.
Can't you?
I mean, you can tell, right?
I don't know.
Later
this month, tune into the Steph and Craig show. We're going to have a pet psychic on. The legit pet psychic.
Well, there you go.
So I'm a believer that you can actually communicate with
Well,
animals.
then I'm excited to introduce you to Ollie.
I'm excited to meet him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is hard.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you that we found a bullet in Stu?
No.
Oh yeah. So like, this is so funny. Like, not funny. It's terrible, but I don't know. So a couple years ago, Jamie had another dog we got that was like it was like a plot red bone hound. We found it like somebody at the gas station was selling puppies.
Yeah.
You know, and
it's usually legit.
Totally legit. Papered and all. Cash only. But we picked this dog and we're like, all right, cool. Like we, took her in, and it was funny because Jamie took her to the vet and was like, all right, like we hadn't really dealt with like a California or a Tennessee vet yet. So she takes it in and she's talking to him, getting it all checked up, doing the physical. I would do all the deworming and the shots and all this stuff. And he was like, all right, cool. And we're going to, have her spaded and all this. And we're like, all right. And he's like, all right, is the dog going to live inside or outside? She's like, oh, no, this is like outside. Like, no, it's cold. Like, it'll be an inside dog. And he's like, well, that's very California-ish of you, try to throw a little shade at her. But that dog, unfortunately, I think we only had her like 6 months. And through a crazy cycle of events, I was out deer hunting on our property, literally shot a deer, and then she at the same time let the dogs out, and I think another deer, and they chased it, and either Stella it was Stu and Stella, either they ran into a coyote or something, but maybe the story changes a little bit now, because when we had to put Stu down, they was getting looked at. Stella never came back. Stu eventually showed up, but was kind of fucked up, right? And looked like he had maybe got into a barbed wire or gotten bit by something, and we weren't really sure. Fast forward a couple years, we have Leia now. No big deal. Stu's getting old, super unhappy. He's whining. His arthritis is just through the roof now, because Stu was still 100-pound dog. He was a big dog. But so we take him in, and they're like, well, we want to do an x-ray, right? And I'm all about spending some money on my dog to help it, but I'm not going to go drop $6,000 on fucking, whatever. Sorry, man, you were free. And they did an x-ray, and there's a straight up fucking bullet in his back along his spine, not doing anything, just sitting there. And he's like, what the? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I kind of want to pull it out just to I was like, yeah, man. Do you think you can get it? And he's like, yeah. And it's a little 380, bullet, right?
He totally got shot, man.
He totally got shot.
You think it was that time?
I think it was totally that time, which means that there's some asshole out there who probably shot the other dog.
Yeah.
Right, which really fucking sucks. But at the same time, unfortunately, like I know for anybody who's listening, like where we live, it's common not to like shoot dogs. There are lots of.
It's very strange here in Tennessee.
It really is. We have like it's not a big deal to see just dogs, right? Like just
roaming packs of dogs.
Roaming packs of dogs.
Yeah,
but it's a thing. And we had a problem with. I felt bad. I was in where was I at? I was somewhere, and we had a Rottweiler, all fucked up. Showed up, looked like it had gotten fucked up by a bunch of coyotes or something, or another pack of dogs, and it was at our house, and Dave had to take care of it. Right. Like the guy who owned our house before us, he shot the neighbor's 2 dogs, and then the neighbor shot his 2 dogs. Yeah. Right. So these things, it wasn't that neighbor. We talked. Me and Miguel have each other's numbers. We're fine.
Yeah, we've got it like, because we don't live on a big enough piece of land like you guys do where, we can see our neighbors for the most part. And there's enough of us right here in this little section that we live in that it's kind of like, it's nothing like a normal subdivision,
like cul-de-sac or something like that. Yeah.
But it's like we're all close enough. Like there's a big husky that lives across the street named Brody that we'll see wandering around. The people behind us have a nice little pack of dogs that run around and hang out. And apparently our neighbor shot one of them at some point. And, it's like, I'm all for, protecting things from dogs. But at the same time, I'm not a fan of shooting dogs.
No.
I'm like, I don't think.
No, I'm not out there just taking pot shots at dogs just because.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's definitely a thing here.
It's definitely a thing here.
Yeah. And the whole wild, packs of roaming dogs, that's 100% just a normal.
Yep.
Yeah. When we first moved here, we're like, oh, there's no animal control. It's not like, oh, they're off for the day.
So in Athens, which is our main city for McMinn County, if you call animal control Tuesday.
That's the only day?
It's the only day. There's no voicemail. There's no nothing. On Tuesday, you can talk to someone. Right? Like that's...
Between the hours of 9 and 10:30?
Yeah. It's like there's a 13-minute window, right, where you can get somebody to answer the phone. But that's animal control for the entire county is that.
Yeah.
And the rest of it, they just rely on the rest of the population around here just to take care of it. And it's like, if your dog gets out and goes over and tries to attack, especially livestock, right? It's like there's not a judge in Tennessee that's going to side with you. It doesn't matter how purebred or it doesn't matter. If your dog goes after livestock, it's no dog.
When my Huskies, because we lived in a small town, and they got out a handful of times and would go and kill whatever they could get their hands on.
Yeah.
And which involved chickens mostly and some ducks sometimes and stuff like that. And, I was always lucky enough that nobody ever shot them, but it was also inside of it was like you couldn't necessarily shoot a dog in the neighborhood because there's too much around.
Yeah.
But I did have to do some restitution and pay some people for some chickens and had to come up with a plan to not let those dogs get out anymore. But that's crazy that he got shot. That speaks to fucking big ass dog though.
Big ass dude, just never and it's so crazy. Also, when the vet looks at you and he's like, "You ever shoot your dog?" What? No, I swear to God, I've never shot my dog. First of all, how often? You just randomly
Isn't that
ask?
Crazy that's a question.
That's just a question.
Hey, you ever shot your dog? Yeah, as a matter of fact,
fucker was
last week.
Yeah, right. And he's like, yeah, look at this. And our vet's super cool, right? Shout out Athens Small Animal Hospital. Super cool guys. But yeah, just look at that. There's a fucking bullet right there. I was like, yeah. And he's like, I don't know, man. It's like a little 9 mil, a little 380 or something. I was like, yeah, I think it's a 380. But yeah, so we got some dogs.
I was in the off season, so when there wasn't snow, I would run with my Huskies on a sled. I had a dryland scooter that I would use with them. That was basically like a don't start giggling. I see your fucking smile creeping up over there.
In the off season, my dryland scooter.
It was the scooter that was designed for mountain bike trails. So it was built on a skateboard deck. It was all nice aluminum framed up.
No shit.
And had big knobby tires on it and disc brakes and the whole 9 yards. So it was a really like sweet ass scooter. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And that's what I would use. I would tie them up to that and take off, and they'd pull me on that scooter. And there was one time where we were going and we were cruising along. Everything's fine. And out of nowhere, these two ginormous pits come barreling out of this house, like out of this driveway. And they just collided with us. So it was like, as soon as I see them come running from the side, totally like full, they were going full speed, ready to attack. I'm like, come on. I start yelling at the dogs to go. So we go as fast as we possibly can. And they collided with, because I had Timber and Eliza were brother and sister. And Timber was just a big old goofy dog, long legs, really tall. And Eliza was more of a medium size, like more of like a traditional medium size husky size. And they collided right into her. And everybody was just kind of like a melee for a minute. And we were able to take off running and outrun them. And, but I think they they had to have, because she was like totally down for like 3 days. We got back to the house and she didn't get back up for a while. And then just like slowly kind of nursed herself back up to where, and then from that point on, she never ran the same. Yeah. She still ran normal in a sense. Yeah. She didn't look like she was, but she had to have broken a hip or cracked something. Because she just never had the stamina after that. Yeah. Which was a bummer.
I gotta get a video. Ollie bounds like a rabbit.
Oh yeah.
He like saw a rabbit run and he was like, I can do that. And he like randomly like kicks his back. I've only seen it like twice, and Jamie's like, it's the weirdest fucking thing. This dog's trying to run like a rabbit. But yeah, it's hard with dogs because you build bonds with them, right?
Yeah, man.
It's this other like emotional, semi-intelligent being that's in your home, right? And you are with them all the time.
Yeah.
And you build these bonds and you learn their personalities, and you pick up on traits from each other, and you understand how they feel and what they're thinking about.
One of the things that from the telepathy tapes, because there's an episode on that where they're talking about, like in conjunction with everything that they're talking about, they also talk about some of these tests that, and I don't remember the guy's name, the scientist or the smart guy that they're talking about, but
the smart guy, right?
Did these tests where they would prove, yes, I believe it. Like when I say it's proof, it's like, I believe it's scientific proof, but I'm not doing the best job recounting it. So it sounds like I'm just, blowing smoke, but essentially it's like the dogs can tell when the owners are coming home.
Yeah.
Because they can just sense that, okay, owner's on their way home, right? And so we've started noticing it a lot with Roxy, where it was literally just the other night where Asher's been out hanging out with his buddy doing whatever he wants for spring break. And we were laying in bed, and Roxy sleeps in bed with us. And it was like 10:30 at night or something like that. Steph and I are totally just like at the, we're ready to go to sleep. And Roxy's like asleep, laying there, just totally passed out. And out of nowhere, she just sits up and just looks out the window. And then Steph's like, oh, what's going on? And she's like, you hear other dogs barking? And she's just doing like the, like acknowledging that something. Yeah. And within 5 minutes, Asher pulls up.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
To where, like, when I'm coming home and shoot Steph the text, hey, I'm on my way home or whatever.
Yeah.
Then literally Roxy will kind of wake up and go over the window and pace around. And so I think it's cool.
No, I 100% agree that dogs can do that. I think that's, I would agree with that. Like, can your dog sense when you're about to be home or on your way? Yeah, 100%.
It's like a pack animal thing.
Yeah. They're like
if the pack's
something's
out
missing.
And about, you think about, I love watching wolves and studying wolves, and I've spent lots of time in Yellowstone. There's actually lots of time, not as much time as I want. There's a version, you know how I talk all the time about like the horse era, the surf era.
Horses here in a minute,
right? But I've got an era where I'm basically just living in Yellowstone, watching the wolves. But we've got to do it a little bit. Not as much as I'd like, but because every year they've got a den somewhere, right? And usually you can find out where it's at, and then you go and hang out, and there's like wolf watchers that are there all the time, and like the guy that, I mean, it's just this whole 9 yards. There's a whole culture involving the wolves in Yellowstone.
They're called wolvies.
Wolvies.
I'm sorry. You're talking about this, and at the same time, you're like, there's a whole culture around wolves, and I was like my cousin who calls himself Wolfie.
Wolfie? Do you have a cousin that calls himself Wolfie?
I think so. I haven't seen it on social media in a long time, but he's got some apparel that he
puts on, that he dons.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever floats people's boats. Everybody gets to do them. That's not what I'm into. But I do enjoy hanging out with them and watching them. And
those kind of
no
wolves. Okay.
The actual wolves in Yellowstone.
Wolves.
But I mean, it would make sense from like a pack animal mentality where it's like you would be able to sense when the pack is coming back.
Yeah, totally.
So, and we would see it all
or
the
if there
time.
was one missing or something.
Yeah. And you can watch, because you'd watch the den site where the pups are and the handful of wolves that are left to watch the pups.
Yeah.
While everybody goes out and does
hunts,
the hunts and all the other things. And I mean, it's just fascinating. You've never been to Yellowstone, right? If I remember right, I think we've talked about it before. Or if you have, it's been...
I've never been to Yellowstone. No, I've never been to Yellowstone.
Okay.
So I have flown over Yellowstone, but I've never...
Yeah, it's a little different.
In a helicopter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've never been to Yellowstone. I've seen like the Grand Tetons from the air.
Yeah.
I've seen Mount Rushmore from the air.
That'd be cool.
It was cool. Yeah, there were some disagreements at the time with the air traffic controller on how close we were allowed to fly to them. And he was like, no, it's a restricted airspace. And we're like, yeah, it's our airspace. And they're like, no, it's restricted for us. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, but we're the U.S. government. Do whatever the fuck we want, ipso facto. I think the whole like seeing those guys out in the like wild and all that stuff is super cool. And I really think it's funny when you talk about like the alpha wolf or whatever, like how some of that's really kind of been like, that's not how this works.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, oh, and they're much more like, it's not maternalistic, but they're much more like they raise these dogs together, right? Like it's more of a community than like, hey, this guy's in charge and everybody just follows, right? I think all that stuff's super, super cool. Have you seen the guy? There's a couple guys on Instagram that have like coyotes for like pets.
For pets, yeah.
Yeah, they like have their own den and all that, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing, little coyote?" And they're biting them and stuff. I think that stuff's fun.
Yeah.
No, I was going to ask you a question, and I just totally forgot it. You were talking about your going to Yellowstone.
Was it my horse era?
Horse era, yes. You got to meet a horse.
I got to go see a man about a horse.
You got to go see a woman.
Yeah. Though it was so cool, dude. It was awesome. We got to go meet Jamie's horse this past weekend.
Yeah.
Steph and I got the opportunity to go out and meet Hope.
Heard that Steph got up on Hope?
Yes.
Yes. You were not.
No, I was not allowed to,
same.
which I understand.
Yes.
I completely I'm not happy about it.
No, I get that.
Like if I honestly thought about it, I'd probably get real serious and drop 50 pounds and then see if Jamie would let me.
There's bigger horses.
That's probably easier, right?
Yeah. Trust me.
I'm going to fast for
Yeah. I mean, they used to have a horse there named Triton.
Okay.
Who was like, the name was the reason. You were like, Jesus. I was like, holy hell, what the hell is that thing? His back was this wide, just on the top of it, right? And then it slowed down. But yeah, so you got to meet Jamie's horse and got to hang out there. What'd you think? Was it?
I loved it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought it was so cool. We had a really, really good time.
Did you feel a connection with the horse?
Very much so.
Yeah? That's good.
Very much so. Yeah.
Did the horse try to bite you?
I don't feel like she did. I feel like she definitely, I don't feel like she tried to bite me.
Okay.
She might have, I feel like Jamie probably would say different. But I don't like what she did. I don't feel like she was trying to bite me.
Gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? She bit Jamie,
She does that.
Yeah, she does that.
She's kind
That's
of a
what
bitch.
It sounds like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was fun. We took her some snacks, got to hang out and feed her.
I heard that she got a bunch of snacks.
Helped Jamie get her all prepped and ready, and then aftercare and everything like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, like, quite literally, dude, I feel weird because Jamie does her whole thing and gets her ready and then, you know, takes her to not the corral, the riding area, the arena.
Yeah, the arena.
Yeah. And starts exercising her and taking her around and everything like that. And I'm just sitting there watching. And Steph's like, this is weird. We should go do something. And I'm like, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah, I'm
sitting here
this.
watching the horse.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so excited to be in the space with, like, quite legitimately, anytime I get the opportunity to be around horses, I'm like on cloud nine. It's the coolest experience for me. I grew up next door to, the people that lived next door to us had horses.
Okay.
But they had them, so it was like, I mean, our next door neighbors, and then they had a big plot of land that was their hay field, and then next to them was their grandmother's house, and behind grandmother's house was the little corral pen area where they had a couple of horses. And they would take them out and do the things that people do with horses and, you know. Horsing. But so I never really got a lot of time with them, but every now and then I would get to go over there and feed the horses or, you know, but it wasn't consistent. It wasn't, because the old man that lived next, like the guy that lived there, because it was his son. So he had a son that was my older brother's age. So he was like 2 years older than me. And then they had a son that was a year or two younger than me. Mm-hmm. And we all grew up together. Do you remember me telling the story about the gun breaking?
Yeah.
So that was the family. That was the son. So their dad was just an asshole. Just the assholes of all assholes ever. Was just the biggest son of a bitch asshole that you could ever meet. Like, we would hear him, you know, going off on his kids all the time. And we never wanted to go over to, you know, the ball goes over the fence. We never go get it because we don't run it. We don't want to run into that guy. So it wasn't like I was like, I never felt like, hey, can I come over and hang out and see the horses? Yeah. It was always the type of thing where it was like, for whatever reason, today was the day. And every opportunity, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And then so I love being around them. And so for me the other day, just getting to like meet Jamie's horse, hang out with her, get to see her, get to just sit and watch her, connect with her, feel her, all those kind of different things. It was really, really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get the thing I sent you with the horses and the dolphins?
No.
I sent it to you on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I'm terrible. I got to if you are a friend of mine, just text me. Just send me text messages. That's my preferred form of messaging. I don't ever check anything else.
We'll go ahead and put his number in the duplicate.
Yeah, we'll drop it down below in the show notes. Just feel free to text. But because I'm on social media so much for all of this stuff that it's like I never make it over to my personal accounts.
Yeah.
And if I do, I'm there long enough to like zone out and then come back, right?
Well,
so either message us through, you know, these platforms that were like, so message me through Brave Men Dare and I'll see it. Otherwise,
I get it. It was meant for you.
Well, who else? It's only me and you on Brave Men Dare. Not anybody else. I'll send you shit on there because not anybody else is looking.
Solid point. I understand where you're going with that.
I'll go look.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about it now because I'm not going to lie. I was a little, like, I sent it to you and I was like, this is fucking you, bro.
Right?
This is fucking you.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get anything back and I was like, all right, well, maybe he hasn't seen it yet. And then after like 2 days, I was like, you know what, man, fuck Craig.
I know.
You know?
I feel so bad. Like, you know, Rob sends me so much stuff on Instagram. And I'm just like, Rob, you got to text me, dude. I'm never over there to look at any of that stuff.
I think Rob sends me a lot of stuff too. And I love going through it. Right. And it's so funny. So like Rob sends me a lot of stuff. And if I see something that I think Rob will enjoy, I send it to Rob. Mm-hmm. But I also like, Jamie looked at me the other day. She's like, no, I sent you a bunch of stuff on Instagram. And I was like, oh. I was like, all right, hang on a minute. I opened it up and there was like 17 like unread like threads. And I was like, oh yeah. I'm sorry. I suck at this.
Yeah.
So I but it was funny the other day. like a week or so ago, I sent Terry the meme of like the gorilla. He's like when the professor says we're going over Kimuras and all the heavyweights are like, ha. Terry sent it back to me. The exact same fucking thing. It's literally like this. It's his.
Hey, I just saw this cool reel.
Yeah, I saw this and thought of you. And I saw it and it was like, yeah, same fucking thing.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Steph and I got into a fight the other day about messaging each other back.
Really?
Because not like a legit fight. We're still not talking, right? No, that's just your black eye is from your wife. I'm black eye free lately.
Lately. You've been doing the laundry more.
Stop talking. We're not talking about laundry. I'm still trying to decide whether or not we're going to edit out that entire section of the podcast.
No, we can't edit it out.
But normally we had this routine where, you send each other stuff back and forth. And then a couple times a week at night when we're laying in bed we'll sit there and watch them together.
Okay.
Because then she likes to see my reaction to whatever she sent.
Did she send you something funny?
Everything like that.
Then there's the pressure on you.
Right. And so when Steph sends me stuff, I don't look at it until we're together and we get that opportunity. So then we're watching that together. Well, she'll send me, she gets a little Robbie sometimes and sends me quite a few things to watch across both platforms on Instagram and on Facebook. And I'm like, baby, and now we have like my night routine is so very, very different. Actually, ever since yoga, doing the 75 days of yoga.
Yeah. So
my evening routine now is I will usually get out of the shower, roll out the yoga mat, and I'll do, 20, 30 minutes of yoga and breath work, and then go to bed. And we'll talk a little bit, but I'm not getting on my phone. Like my phone is done and over with. Yeah. I've actually started putting it in the drawer. Like
I was just going to say that you put it in the drawer.
Yeah. I'm done with the phone at night. And so I'm not laying in bed watching reels anymore, which means I got like 400 that Stephanie has sent that I haven't seen. And
she's
got
like,
pissed.
why do you hate me?
Why are you not looking at the things? I'm like, baby, I don't know what to tell you. And then I give her my whole spiel about like, what I do. Somebody's on social media all day long.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want me to see something, text it to me. And I've started texting her the things that I want her to see.
Okay.
That's another, like, just a side note, like insider baseball here. If you like our content on social media, if you go to the share button and then come off the platform and send that in a text message, that's actually better for us.
No shit.
Algorithm wise.
Okay.
Like those are the type of shares that they really, really
I'll start
like.
sharing it that way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start.
Because that's driving people back.
Can I email it that way?
If you want to. Send a crow.
Reply all.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get everybody's email address from the gym and just start sending it all out through there. I think it's I enjoy like the sending like stuff back to each other, especially when you see something that you like. I totally got this the other day. I looked at Jamie. I was like, you ever feel like every time you see something, you just want to send it to the other person because it's just so good? And she's like, it's the algorithm figuring out what you like to share and giving you what you want to share to me repetitively. And I was like, it's fucking good, man. It's good shit. I don't know what to tell you. I like doing this. I like seeing this. It's funny stuff.
Yeah.
I like, a lot of it's like the relationship, whatever. Most of mine's like, I'm not going to get into that.
You know what I think is hilarious about all the content that we see online and stuff, especially when it's not just relationship stuff. It's because we share a lot of jujitsu stuff and all these funny memes and all these different things.
Yeah.
It's like the human experience is so similar. We're all having these same experiences. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like the fact that my wife sends me reels to watch and she then gets pissed off at me if I don't watch them.
There are memes about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So that's an experience that we're all having to some extent.
75,000 men across the U.S. that are like, yes,
that can totally relate to. Yeah. And then like I saw one the other day where it was, you're at that phase of marriage where you get in trouble for being able to fall asleep early or something.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's like you're laying in bed and then she gets pissed off at you because you're like already falling asleep and she's not done talking to you and wants to stay up all night long talking about stuff. And I'm like, babe, I don't know what to tell you. I It's fucking bedtime. I got to go to bed.
See, that's like only half because we're the opposite.
Yeah, Jamie goes to bed before you, right?
She goes to bed way before I do. I average go to bed at like midnight.
Yeah.
But she goes to bed
how
like,
you do it, dude.
I just, you know, I'm not really sure what it is that keeps me going all day. But even on, I mean, and I like, so here's the hard part, and maybe this is totally wrong. This could be, maybe this is really how I work.
Okay.
I'm going to be up. Like, I'm going to be awake.
Yeah.
And I could not have nicotine, or not nicotine.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. I could not be doing bumps. So fucking blow. A little bit of yay. Little toot. I could not drink caffeine, and because I've gone without caffeine for a long time before, and just been like, yeah, no big deal. I do feel mentally sharper
on caffeine.
I feel.
Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Heritage Still. If you're serious about quality in the kitchen, it's time to check out Heritage Still. All their cookware is handcrafted right here in Tennessee.
Heritage Still isn't just another cookware brand. This is American craftsmanship at its finest, using high-quality, multi-clad stainless steel to give you unmatched durability, precision, and performance. Whether you're searing, sauteing, simmering, or good old-fashioned pan frying, these pans are built to last for generations.
Their cookware is safe for any cooking surface. It's easy to clean, and every piece comes with a lifetime warranty.
And right now, Brave Men Dare listeners, I'm talking to you. You guys can save an extra 10% off. Go over to www.heritagesteel.us/brave. Make sure you use the promo code BRAVE, all caps, to get that extra 10% off at checkout. Upgrade your kitchen with the cookware that's going to stand the test of time.
Heritage Still, chef-grade cookware for less.
And more energized, caffeinated.
Yeah.
One might say when I'm on caffeine. But if I don't drink it, like I don't drink caffeine so I'm not napping, right? I don't drink caffeine because I'm not alert or not awake or something like that. Like, I just feel better.
Have you ever tried, like, what's the longest stretch that you've gone without it, you think?
Couple months.
Couple months?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you got to the point where it was totally out of your system and you didn't need it anymore?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I mean, literally, I think on a deployment, somebody challenged me. They're like, I bet you, stop drinking caffeine. Like, okay. And I stopped. I cut out coffee. I cut out nicotine because I wasn't.
Were you doing like the Zins, the pouches and
those
stuff?
Those weren't even a thing then.
Okay.
I did have one of those the other day. It's because I don't chew tobacco or dip or whatever you want to call it as much as I had in the past. I can't just, like, with a Zin, you just got it, right? I like 2 swallows, like, whoo, feeling funny. My grandfather used to, he would just, so.
Hold on.
Sorry.
Did you smoke when you were deployed?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, like, nicotine, and it varies because, like, in the back of helicopters and at night, for some reason, you're not supposed to smoke cigarettes when it's really dark and you're flying through the air. Apparently the bad guys can see that.
Okay.
Right. It also blooms out your lenses. It's all kinds of bad stuff for night vision. So you don't normally smoke when you're in the back of helicopters. Also, like, the Navy's got rules. It's stupid. Flammable things.
Right.
Right. Ordnance. Not supposed to keep cigarettes by it. But jet fuel, shit like that. But so you wouldn't smoke there, so you could dip. So you could have like a lip of tobacco and you'd spit that, and you could actually put the thing, the like Gatorade bottle,
the spittoon,
and you could just like, and it was great, right? You go about your whole day like that. Well, then you come back and then you go smoke a cigarette, right? Smoke a couple cigarettes, and you go to work, you sleep, cigarettes, and then you fly and you dip. So you do both, which is terrible, but. And then when
how much nicotine is in dip?
I don't know.
I've never tried it before.
Really?
Yeah.
You want to?
I don't actually.
No, it's probably good.
It's so weird. Like
it'll make you vomit.
I'm sure it would.
It 100%. The first time I did it, like, ask anybody if the first time you used tobacco, like chewing tobacco, if you vomited, tell us how old you were, because I remember exactly how I was 18 years old on my way to a strip club with my friend Bobby Mitchell, driving around in his purple Dodge Avenger, And he was like, yeah, I got some lip. And he's like, I got some lip tobacco. And I was like, all right. And I put a big old fucking chaw of like Copenhagen in. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, all right. And just swallowing the spit. And I think we made it 3 miles. And I was like, wow. I don't feel well. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. And I vomited all inside like the door rail. It was terrible. And then we went to the strip club.
Good times.
It was good times.
We could probably tell some strips club stories. I'm sure you've probably got a couple.
You mean like my buddy Wilcox, who married the girl that bit his earlobe off when he was in Yuma? I don't have any stories like that.
I don't think we should actually tell strip club stories.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if Wilcox listens to this podcast. I don't want to like get him in trouble for anything.
Do you have strip club stories though?
Do I have strip club
experiences of other people, but your experience. Anyways, we're getting all over the place. I'm genuinely curious about. Because my
tobacco,
not just tobacco,
stimulants.
No, like
toot. You want to do a little toot?
I have thought about, because I feel like I operate off of caffeine as the main supplement that I use, and I feel like it's because I was operating off of adrenaline my entire life.
100%.
And so it's just transitioning from one to the other.
Yep.
And, I've got all the reasons why and all the excuses why and all these things why, but I've tried to quit coffee over the years and transition to all the different kind of, like mud water and all the different kind of things and whatnot.
What happens when you quit coffee?
Well, like I can go without it. It's not hard for me to stop drinking coffee.
But what happens?
What do you mean like what happens?
How do you feel?
That's the thing is I don't know. Maybe a week or 2 weeks or from the perspective of like, not just coffee, but caffeine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I've ever given myself longer than maybe 2 or 3 weeks at the most. And that would be like pushing it.
Do you want to do that?
We could.
I don't want to.
Well, that's the thing that I think would be really curious is to find out what would really happen. Because I think that you're probably a lot like me where you're like, I can do it. And then you do it. But then it's the type of thing where I think something like a stimulant like that we've been on for the vast majority of our life would probably take a lot longer, not to just get out of our systems, but also for those receptors to start functioning differently, right? So like if you blow out and this is total bro science here, by
bro
the
science.
Way, right? Yeah, this is totally bro science.
Let's do it.
But it would make sense that you've got some sort of like system in your body that gives caffeine, receives caffeine. So like the system that is responsible for the giving and the taking of caffeine, right?
So I have this. Can I give you my caffeine? Can you?
Just I can spit it over. Do you need some caffeine? There's some caffeine for you.
Like a little pre-workout.
But I would think that like the neurotransmitter, whatever it is, that adrenal system has got to just be, and it's blown the fuck out. So
that's what I think is. I'm pretty sure that my like natural adrenal system is just wasted,
wrecked.
Yeah,
which means it's going to take a long time for that to not just heal, but also for it to start to feel the effects of not having that substance anymore, because it's almost like, we probably have caffeine baked into our system to some extent, right? So I remember when I quit smoking, nicotine was a little bit more fast acting in regards to like my body kind of going through the experience of it. But then there was one time when I quit smoking and it was like months and months later where I like bent down to pick something up off the ground and this fucking yellow fluid just came pouring out of my nose. It wasn't mucus.
It was spinal fluid.
It's what it was like fucking tar shit. It was, do you know what I mean? The like built up crap that was in my fucking head. And it literally just came pouring out of my nose. I was like, what the fuck is this? Right. And that's the only thing I could chalk it up to was all the nicotine and smoke and all the shit that was in my lungs and in my sinus cavities and everything like that. So I think it would probably be something similar with caffeine where we would have to quit it for, an extended period of time.
What's an extended period of time?
I mean, I'm thinking 90 days. I'm thinking not only do we have to quit it, but it's like not just coffee, right? I got to stop drinking these Celsiuses.
Yeah. Let's cut the caffeine out. No more chocolate.
Yeah. I mean, that's not too hard. I don't eat a lot of chocolate now as it is, right?
Well.
So it's like, what would it be like to not have that as the main source of energy in our bodies?
I would like to move the topic to something.
That would be a stretch, dude.
I would like to change the topic.
That would be 90 days super fucking hard.
What's the benefit?
I think for me, because now as we're talking about it, I'm thinking about, the benefit for it, I think, just for me, right? And I think that you would probably benefit as well, as it's like my body would regulate in a way that I probably haven't ever experienced before, from like a nervous system regulation perspective of removing something that is so... it would be one thing if I had a small cup of coffee every morning. I don't. I drink 3 to 4 cups of coffee every morning, right?
How many pots of coffee do you guys brew?
We only brew one.
It's okay.
We used to be a 2-pot or a
But then we
two-pot.
kick into the Celsiuses.
Well, I don't drink, I usually drink 1 Celsius a day in the afternoon time. And that's usually about the amount of caffeine that I'm having.
So you have more
now.
caffeine than I do.
How many Monsters do you drink every day?
Normally 1.
I love the way that you said that. Don't ask any fucking further questions. Normally 1, Your Honor, and I'm sticking to it.
Why are we getting so fucking personal?
How much coffee? Do you drink a lot of coffee in the morning?
We split a pot.
Okay. Your answers. All of my cop senses are going like way, way off. They're like, this motherfucker's lying. We got to get him into the room right now and get the lights on because this guy's full of shit.
Listen, the lights are on.
Every time you would ask a drunk person, how much have you had to drink? Oh, 2 or 3 beers. That's it. That's all I've had to drink. And they're fucking hammered.
Oh, yeah.
It was always 2 or 3 beers. That's what you're doing right now. You're like, I don't know, 2 or 3 Monsters.
I'm not saying that's my second Monster for the day. That was actually my go-home Monster.
Okay.
Because I had a Monster, I drank it, and then as I got here, I was like, well, I need to bring something in, and I didn't want to drink another one of your Celsiuses. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, well, I have this.
You're always welcome to, by the way.
I understand that. I totally get that. I appreciate that. I just knew that I had one in the truck. And
Do you have another one in the truck?
I don't. That was my go-home Monster.
Okay. Now you're going to have a go-home Celsius.
No, I don't think. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little like.
You feeling it a little bit?
I'm feeling it a little bit. I don't know, man. Like it's the reason I say that you drink more caffeine than me because I think there's 200 milligrams of caffeine in that, and I believe a Monster is only 180.
Okay. I have the hardest time trying to read these things.
Yeah, God, that's so fucking terrible.
I think they make it that hard so that you don't actually realize what you're drinking. These Celsius, all they show you is like, this is gluten-free, it's kosher, it's non-GMO.
Let's trade me real quick. Look at the pink. I think it's right here where my finger is.
Caffeine content, 200 milligrams.
I think it says it right there. I don't have eyes in.
Oh, my God.
Right? Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Hold on, we'll get this figured out.
I think it's like 150, 180. Somewhere in that range. It's a 1. It starts with a 1.
Okay. Caffeine from all sources, 150 per can.
Boom. I fucking win.
Yeah, you do.
That's my second can.
I think I might do it as I'm sitting here contemplating it and we're discussing it, because the truth of it is it's like...
Sorry, I'm totally interrupting because would you cut out just caffeine or would you cut out all stimulants?
Well, what other stimulants would you... See, I don't eat a lot of sugar either. Like, my diet is very, very...
No more maple syrup.
I don't eat a lot of maple syrup.
Well, that's probably why you're in this situation now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would... I think if I just focused on caffeine...
Yeah,
and
probably a better step.
Yeah, because, I've drank coffee for the last... I just turned 44, so it's been the last... I've probably been drinking coffee since I was... 18 or 19 years old consistently. So it's at 25 years. Been on coffee every single day. And a myriad of other sources, right? Energy drinks, all sorts of different things.
All other kinds of stimulants here and there.
You name it.
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to see like a concerted effort, not just a month, not just 2 months, but 90 days without.
I think you should taper off. Mm-hmm. Don't go cold turkey.
Yeah.
Because then you get a real bad headache. All right, caffeine headache. I think if you went like, hey, for the next week, I'm just going to drink my morning coffee. Mm-hmm. And then after that, like, hey, I'm just going to have a cup of morning coffee. And then after that, like, all right, no more coffee.
Yeah.
Right? I think if you did a taper, you could it would be better and probably easier to push yourself to that kind of extreme of the no caffeine.
Are you interested in joining me?
Not really.
No.
It's I'm pretty fucking awesome as I am, so why fuck with a good thing?
What if this is the thing that would actually make you more awesome?
Then that's too much.
Right? What if it's the thing
awesome
that would put you into another level of awesomeness?
Then I'd be unstoppable.
Because I actually, like, I truly believe that our natural regulated nervous system, you know, with healthy foods and all those types of things, I feel like it is more than enough to not just sustain us, but like keep us at a really high functioning level. Because, you know, our body doesn't naturally produce caffeine, does it? I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so, but I
don't
want
look at me like I'm an
I want to
idiot.
lie to you and be like, it totally does. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure.
Because our body produces all sorts of different stuff that we actually eat already and consume already.
Yeah.
Or it'll take stuff and convert it, right?
Yeah.
Total bro science again.
Total bro science. More plates, more dates.
Exactly. I think I might give it a shot.
Yeah.
And the part that's hard for me, and that's funny too, because the thing that I'm about to say makes me realize that it's just the addiction part of it, where it's like the part that's hard for me is I like it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no shit, dumbass.
I don't think that. Listen, I'm not trying to sign off on your addiction, like whatever. But just because you like something doesn't mean you're addicted to it.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
I like the Lions. I'm not addicted to them. Right. I like jeans. I'm not addicted to them.
I think the fact that honestly, I'm just really curious what would happen without it, because I don't think I need it anymore. I think the old excuses that I used to give myself of why I need it and how I need it and all those kind of things aren't really applicable in my life anymore. And then if I just look at it strictly from that perspective of like, okay, this is something in my system that my system doesn't really need or require anymore, and yet I'm still flooding it day in and day out with thousands of milligrams of.
Weren't we just talking about doing hard things just to do hard things?
I don't know. Did we?
Did we? Maybe I was talking to some other.
On this episode?
No, not this episode.
Okay.
And I mean, these are.
Right. They're all blending together at this point.
I feel maybe I was talking to my other compadre about it.
We might have talked. It might have been the thing that we talked about on the interview with Mike, where it was like, there is something in our brains. This is more bro science for you. I think this came from Huberman. I remember Stephanie telling me about this, where that part of your brain that, like, when you go so there's something that you don't want to do and then you do it, it does something, it releases stuff. It's like this whole other thing that is brain health. So it helps with longevity in life and brain growth and all those kind of different things of exactly that, doing things that you don't want to do. You don't remember that part of the conversation?
No. I think it was, no, it's just this, I don't remember. I think it was Jamie and I talking about it, because it's the idea of, like, you intentionally do the hard thing, right? Like, just because it's harder makes us feel like it's probably better, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I could swim to Europe.
Yeah.
But the boat's totally a shortcut, so probably not the best thing for you, right? Like, I could walk here, and that would probably be the healthiest thing for me, right? Is if I walked the 18 miles from my house to your house, that would probably be the healthiest thing and really the most naturalistic, best for the environment, all that. Like, that's true.
What's another example that's a little bit more like feasible or applicable? Because I agree with you. I think that sometimes, I'm trying to do less in my life right now. I'm trying to look for ways to, like, I'm not interested in doing hard things anymore.
I mean, you're over here talking about doing something pretty fucking hard in my mind. Yeah,
but like, for me, that's a thing that would be, I think, truthfully, incredibly beneficial for me.
Do you think that if you did it say you started tomorrow, you went 90 days, no caffeine, would you pick caffeine back up?
I don't think I would.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so at all. I think it would be, like, alcohol is a good example. I hardly ever drink alcohol.
But do you still drink alcohol occasionally?
Occasionally. So I think I would occasionally have some coffee.
Yeah.
But I think it would be very different in the way that I consumed it. It would be, I wouldn't have it on a daily basis. It would be on the rare occasion when I'm in a place or a location where it's like, oh yeah, I want a little espresso.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think that would be something that I like. It wouldn't be the type of thing where I'm never having this thing again. Right now, like cigarettes are pretty much the only thing in my life where it's like, I cannot have cigarettes ever again.
Because if you had a cigarette, you would.
That's my story.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know if that's actually the case. But the part of me that's like, oh, let's find out.
Yeah.
Is the part of me that's still like, don't fucking have cigarettes. You can't have cigarettes yet. And I'm like, are you sure? Maybe just a puff. I just want a little drag.
So I mean, like, I guess it's just like, first of all, I'm supportive of you.
Of me not smoking or of the caffeine?
Of the caffeine. I want you to do what sets your mind free. Right.
I think that's what I'm thinking about, Ben, is I think that it's going to help my mental health.
Do you feel like you'll see more into the matrix?
I think that's a benefit. I think I'll probably be able to not see more into the matrix, but see more into consciousness. So like right now when I'm getting into my meditation, which is daily. Mm-hmm. So in conjunction with yoga, I did the 75 yoga, kept that up, and still I'm keeping that up every single day. So it's just my daily practice now where I don't even have to. It's a habit. It's a habit. Not even thinking about it anymore. Just reaping the benefits of it, right? Mm-hmm. And on top of it, I've added breath. So a buddy of mine, Steven Roccazella, has given me this new type of breathing pattern that I haven't done before, and it's called coherence breathing or coherence breath or something like that.
Okay.
I'm going to have him come on the podcast at some point because he's like a breath work fucking guru. He's so fucking phenomenal when it comes to breath work. But it's this new type of breathing that I've been doing that's been really, really helpful and beneficial. And it's like, I'll get into the rhythm and get into the flow of it. And I'll finally like drop into that happy little spot where things would start happening with my consciousness, meaning I'll start tapping into all of these kind of different things. But at that exact same moment, I'm battling thoughts. I'm battling all the other things that are taking place in my brain that want to come and distract me from it. And I suspect that caffeine is contributing to that in some ways, because that racing thought process, my mind that's always going, I think it would probably help with that. And so I'm wanting to get curious about it for that reason, to be able to see what benefit it would give me. I know I'm going to have some struggles with, because I definitely recognize that I'm like addicted to it. I want coffee in the morning. Yeah. And I create this big story about the routine and the ritual. And it's like, oh, I just really need to have that hot beverage in the morning. It's like, I'm just a fucking addict that wants I want the fucking black tar in my lungs right now. Right. So I'll have to get over that, but I'm okay getting over that. And then there's that lull around afternoon time where I want that other kick of caffeine. But they say all of that goes away. Like all of those things are factors of it.
Yes.
Right. That's your
body looking for more caffeine.
Yeah.
Because it's addicted to the caffeine.
Exactly. So I know that will go away as well after a couple of weeks. And then I just want to get to that spot where what really truly happens to my nervous system and to my body when it's no longer addicted to that constant.
Does mud have caffeine in it?
I don't know. And if it does, it's probably got a real, mild amount.
Because it's like mushroom stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fungus.
Yeah, and I like mud water. We've done it before in the past.
I haven't had it.
We've tried some of the other, because they've got other versions, different companies and stuff, and a lot of them taste like shit.
Mud and silt, and clay.
But I'd be down to get some mud water. I did cacao for a while, but
okay,
cacao's got some caffeine in it as well too.
So here's what I think. I think that you go ahead and quit caffeine.
Do you want to do 30 days with me?
No.
2 weeks.
At that point, why even stop?
It's a big fear for you.
It's not a fear. I'm not afraid.
Okay.
Do I think I could do it? I don't need to do it to prove to you I'm not afraid of it.
Correct.
Right.
Aren't you curious at all? Like what's on the other side of that thing that doesn't want to do it?
I mean, no. Because like to me, it's like, all right, like what is positive benefit? I don't drink Monster anymore. I just drink water. I am a little more clear-headed. I don't need caffeine.
Oh, I'm going to have to get rid of my sweet tea.
Yep.
I think that's got some fucking caffeine.
Oh, it does. It does.
That's my nice little lunch snack.
And listen, I cut out I love sweet tea.
Yeah, we get the like Steph makes some Crystal Lighty version that's got the fake sugar. It's not an actual sweet tea.
So it's not like diabetes in a teacup.
Yeah.
Well, you don't drink sweet tea in a teacup.
I'll have to get rid of that.
Yeah.
That's okay. I like water.
I mean, I like water too. I drink a ton of fucking water.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really interested in it. I don't know.
What if you literally slept at night, dude? Like, what if you actually slept at night?
All right.
And you start getting more sleep.
More sleep.
Yeah.
So here's why I'm not like super pumped to do it either way, right? Like, I have cut out caffeine before, and I didn't notice a difference. Like, I'm not going to start going to bed at 9:30 at night, wake and sleep until 6 o'clock in the morning. As much as like I for a while there, I have cut out caffeine before, to the point, not cut it out, but I like, hey, no caffeine after noon. Right? So I would drink my cup of coffee in the morning, and normally not even a Monster. And then it was like, all right, cool. No caffeine afternoon.
Yeah.
No problem. No sodas, no nothing. And just like, all right, I still don't fucking sleep. Right? And I really wish people just get off me about my fucking sleep. I really do. I wish that
Is there other people besides me that bug you about it?
Oh, Jamie's on me all the time about my fucking sleep.
It's because we love you, Ben.
I totally get that. I know it's because you love me. Listen, if I like randomly dozed off while I was driving home or something like that, right? Then like I could understand like the concern.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've always, as long as I can remember, I've only slept like 4 or 5 hours a night, right? And it's not one of those things like I don't wake up and it doesn't take me 30, 40 minutes to wake up.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, all right, we're awake, right? The worst part for me, and this is my least favorite thing that happens, is if Jamie convinces me to like, hey, come get in bed. Just come lay with me, right? I'm like, all right. I get in bed. I'll get in bed. I'm like, all right, I'm here. It's 10 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night. I get in bed. I wake up at 1. And now I'm awake, right? Yeah. So it's like I lay there I'll wake up and I'll lay there and I'm like, all right. And I try to go back to sleep, and then I finally will reach over and I look at my phone. It's 1:15 in the morning. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right? Because now I'm just up, and I'm like, well, this is stupid. Now I'm angry.
Yeah.
Because I'm awake. But if I stay up till midnight or 11, like I think last night I went to bed at, was it last night? I went to bed fairly early. I went to bed at like, I think 11 o'clock last night. Because I was tired. We had a gaggle of children all weekend. We had 5 kids under 9 in our house. Not what I signed up for. But I was tired after all that, and I was like, cool. Kids went to bed. I watched an episode of Reacher, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bed now. There's no reason for me to be up. And I got in bed, and I went to sleep. And I woke up at 4 before my alarm went off, and I was in bed by 11, right? So I slept like 5 hours. I was awake when my alarm went off at 4:35. I turned it off, got up, went to the bathroom, and then got my day going. Went to jiu-jitsu and started going.
Yeah.
Right? I haven't felt tired really at any point today. No, I want to yawn. But I don't know. I wish everybody would back off my fucking sleep.
I'll stop bugging you about it.
It's all right.
On this episode.
I know. I fucking love you. I appreciate the shit out of you for that.
I think it's one of those things that I heard this podcast recently. It's this Harvard lady that does a lot of, I'm not even going to be able to do it justice, but they do this study where they, it's like a sleep study where they have people go to sleep and then they change the clocks. So they wake up and they've actually gotten like 2 hours less amount of sleep, but they don't realize it because the clock's changed.
Yep.
And they don't realize that that's the case. They think they've gotten 8 hours of sleep when really they've only gotten 6 hours of sleep, for example. And she talks a lot about that's just one example that she talks about, but there's so many examples from all of these studies that they've done, and it's all in conjunction. Like the placebo effect is kind of the easiest way to describe it because we all have a contextual understanding of what that is. But the things that we convince ourselves, or the things that we tell ourselves, or the things that we, are told in a sense, really have a bearing and effect over our reality and kind of how we're moving through life. And so I'm under the assumption that we need, not just 8 hours of sleep, but like the less amount of sleep that you get, the more it's taking off the end of your life. So it's like, if you're only getting 4 hours of sleep each night, then you're going to be living a shorter life than you would if you were getting to 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night. I have no bearing. Like, that's just something that I heard on a podcast and it went into my head, and I'm like, well, that sounds like fact to me. So I'm going to try to get as much sleep as I possibly can. Right.
Yep.
But I think if nobody ever had that information and just got 4 hours of sleep every night, but they didn't realize that there was some other idea out there or some other thought out there about it, right? Then they would be totally fine and would still live a long, fulfilled, happy life.
I don't think that's true.
I do. I think, because that's the thing, is it's wrong. Like, that's what the placebo effect is, right?
But if you look at like the before clocks, like we very rarely stayed up late. Yeah. Right? Like the sun went down, we went to bed. Yeah. The sun came up, we woke up. Right? And
that's the other thing, is like your circadian rhythm has got to be totally fucked. Like, it's not functioning off of a normal rhythmic pattern over there with your late nights and your
Do you know, like I've done like 3 sleep studies.
How do they turn out?
They turn, like, I don't have sleep apnea.
That's good.
Yeah. I missed the like mark by like 1 or 2, but it's right on the verge. I'll tell you what, and as we were talking about this, boot camp. There's no caffeine at boot camp.
Really?
There's no soda, there's no coffee, there's no caffeine at boot camp. And that's by far the most exhausting I've ever been. Yeah. And that is a 5 a.m. wake up, and we're in bed at fucking 9 o'clock at night, right? And even in that time, like, you go to bed, and then everybody like kind of like waits for the senior drill instructor to go away from it, and then you kind of like, hey, what the fuck's going on, right? Yeah. But
is there no caffeine there for a reason?
It's just that you don't have. There's no time for coffee.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember ever getting coffee. Maybe somebody who got like, maybe somebody who starts with a fucking A. But us T's, we're at the back of the fucking line, man. Those fuckers with the A's, they got way more time to eat lunch than we do, or breakfast than we do.
When did you go through boot camp?
It was September of 2005.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it better or worse than you thought it was going to be? Or did it kind of meet the expectations that you had going in?
It met the expectations. There were definitely some things that were like, that's harder than I thought it was going to be. There were also so many times that you were like, this really isn't that big a deal. Like, I remember I think I was like halfway through boot camp. Some drill instructor came over, was just in my face yelling, right? And I was like, and part of me was like, fuck this guy. And I was getting all upset about it. And then I was like, this is not really a big deal.
Yeah.
I was like, 10 years from now, I probably won't even remember this, right? And here we are 20 years later, and I'm like, oh, yeah, right? Not a big deal.
What was the hardest part about it?
Oof. What was the hardest part about boot camp? It's a really solid question.
How long was it, too?
Marine Corps boot camp is 13 weeks.
13 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the hardest part about it? It's probably the longest time I've gone minus a deployment without getting laid.
Okay.
And you're in such shock. There's all the like rumors about like, oh, there's saltpeter or whatever in the food, so you never get like an erection.
What?
Yeah, like I don't think I got an erection for the first like 8 weeks that I was at boot camp.
What is saltpeter?
It's supposed to be something that like I don't know if it's real. It's totally just like maybe a wives' tale, old wives' tale or something. But it's something that basically makes you so you're not getting an erection.
Okay.
Right. And the joke was, or the thought was, that they put it in your food, so you don't have a bunch of guys all walking around with fucking hard-ons, right? Yeah. But I can tell you, this is a funny topic, but most guys that I know, like, you wake up with morning wood, right? Never happens at boot camp.
Okay.
Right? Maybe towards the end of boot camp, but like it's either the shock of everything that's going on, or you're so exhausted or whatever, but it's not a regular occurrence. Like there's not 100 guys living in a squad bay all jerking off for 13 weeks at the same time. Like it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's just, you're too tired. You're too exhausted. Yeah. So, but I think that was maybe the hardest. I can't really like, it wasn't, I had already moved out. So it wasn't like, I didn't get to talk to my mom or see my friends or family for that kind of time. I had been a whitewater raft guide before that. So I was already like sleeping in a tent, like working my ass off all day long. I didn't drink, but like I didn't miss that part. Right.
Was the physical,
it was hard.
Okay.
But I don't consider it like harder than an average like day's labor.
Okay.
For what I was doing. The mentality, like if anything, you feel stupid because like you're trying to do basics. They're like, no, yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. And you're like, sir. And you're like, you know, and you're just like, you feel dumb. Towards the end of it, you're like, okay, I got this, right? But it's that breaking down to build you back up kind of thought. I don't remember any of it really being that hard. Like, did it suck when you're in the sand pit and you're just doing push-ups and you're getting sand kicked up in your face? Yeah, that sucks. That would suck in any situation, not just because you're at boot camp. Like, I've got 3 pounds of sand in my ass crack right now. That sucks.
Yeah.
I don't think that the nutritional guide for Marine Corps boot camp was sustainable I didn't lose a ton of weight. I only lost like 20 pounds, but I got down to like 198 pounds. I went from a 46 size jacket to a 42. And like when my mom showed up for like graduation, she's like, what happened to you? Yeah. Are you okay? I look sickly, right? She has a picture of me somewhere and that's my first night in a hotel after boot camp, and I'm in bed and I'm straight up like I'm holding my rifle, sleeping, right? Stupid. But I don't remember anything that was super hard. But I'll tell you what, I will do the caffeine thing with you. I'll give it a rip.
I'm thinking what I'm going to do. This is my plan as we've been talking about it. I think I'm going to start tapering off, like you said. I'm not just going to like get rid of the
because otherwise it
Celsius
can just give yourself a fucking headache.
Well, I don't even because I used to, have days at a time where I wouldn't have anything and I don't get that headache. Okay. I could be wrong. It might come. I'm not too worried about it, but I'm thinking I'm going to start April 1st. So that gives me a couple of weeks to taper off and slowly kind of, work my way back to just a nice little cup of coffee in the morning. Mm-hmm. And then starting April 1st, I'll just go no more. And I'll see, I'm just going to do it.
See what happens?
Yeah. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's something that I necessarily need in my life.
Uh-huh.
And then once I've got a significant amount of time down, then I'll go back to every now and then if I want a espresso or something like that. So
I got you. So
you want to start April 1st and give it a month?
Yeah, I'll do that with you.
That works.
Hang on one sec. I'm sorry.
You going to put it on the calendar?
No. One of my ears turned off. And it's...
throwing you for a loop.
It throws you for a loop real quick.
I'm excited to try it.
There we go.
I think it's going to be fun. I mean, it's not going to be fun, but I'm going to get...
It'll be interesting.
That's the thing is I'm going to get real curious about what's going to happen because I really do think that I haven't ever made the correlation or connection that maybe that's what's happening or that's what's affecting me in meditation because there's some days where I'm able to calm and settle and get into a really nice flow and feel like I come out, it's like, oh my gosh, half an hour went by and it just felt incredible. And then there's other times where I'm just like pulling my teeth to get to that 10-minute mark of trying to slow down, quiet my brain. And so I'm wondering if I'll start to see some effect there.
Have you ever done any distance running?
I have.
Do you get runner's high?
Yeah, I have.
Really? Mm-hmm. I don't.
Is that just a random question?
No, I was just thinking about, but you were like, feeling like trying to find that meditative state.
Yeah.
And I feel like that meditative state is probably similar to like a runner's high, right?
I love it. That's what I used to love about like the last time I went through my phase of running, because there's been a couple of periods in my life where I would get into it. And the last time that I was in it, I think the longest that I ran during that time period was like 12 and a half miles or something like that in one stretch. And, but I used to run pretty consistently 6 miles a day and 8 miles. And then there was one day where I just Forrest Gumped it and just kept running.
So I've never had a runner's high.
Okay.
And I've ran a marathon.
Okay.
And I can tell you that every mile.
You're just in it?
Just in it, miserable.
Do you feel like you've ever had that type of what would be the equivalent of kind of like a runner's high experience where you're tapped into something and you're just kind of without some sort of substance on board?
No.
Interesting. That's a big quandary for me. There's a big question mark for me now in relation to
why can't I just get into like...
It's not why can't you, it's like why haven't you? Because it's almost a natural thing that happens to people depending upon all sorts of different circumstances, right?
Well, it's because I'm not natural. Ain't nothing about this natty baby. No.
But like that flow state that can happen, do you feel like you've experienced that before?
I definitely, like when I'm working on things, like I can get into, I would consider like a flow. Like, hey, this is like, I'm just going through, like when I'm working on stuff, I can feel like I can see it like, all right, hey, this is going and all that. But I can't ever think of a time that I like never gotten a runner's high. I've never been really good at like, I used to do this. The only time I've ever really tried to like really, really focus on meditating was, I used to use it to go to sleep. So it was a hard time for a while there where you had to like, you would work when I was deployed and stuff and you had to like, no, I have to go to sleep right now because I'm going to be up in like, I have to be back there in 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I've got to get all this stuff done. And it took me an hour to get here and showered. So I have to go to sleep right now.
It's just straight logistics. This body needs
downtime.
Yeah,
I have to have this sleep. So I would like lay there and like try to meditate and like I would like I'm telling my toes to go to sleep. I'm telling the balls of my feet to go to sleep, and I would work my way up. I never got to the head. It was just always like out by then.
That's good.
Yeah, part of that was I was also working like 20-hour days,
right?
Just exhausted, and God, what was that? Ambien, that helped. So
oh yeah, and that drug, that thing helped.
Yeah, that helped.
I've never taken Ambien.
No,
I've never done any sleeping medication with the exception of like ashwagandha or what's the other one?
I've taken ashwagandha.
What's the one that's just you go get the fucking chewies at the store?
Melatonin.
Yeah, melatonin.
Yeah. So I think that's why we get into like the caffeine. Like I think my adrenal system is so shot for like 6 months. It was, I got done and we took an Ambien and then I woke up and I would walk in and our flight surgeon would hand you and you just, it was a go pill and you were just up.
Do you know what the go pill was?
Cocaine? No, I don't know what it was called. It was just
but do you know what it was comprised of?
It was some kind of like, I can tell you this, you didn't have the scratchies. You weren't like, what the fuck's going on, man? But you were like, I'm focused.
Yeah, the military has a history of giving soldiers things in order to make them be able to do the things that they need to do.
Well, I was in the Marines, so it's a little different. Because we're not soldiers, we're Marines. Get that right.
But do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Because I mean, if there's one area of
that's why like, and not to like totally throw this whole thing off. When they came out, what was not there was another thing that during COVID that they were talking. It wasn't ivermectin. It was another medication, and they're like, oh, this is malaria medication or whatever, right? Like you can't just give this out to people. I was like, I've taken this every day for 7 years. I was like, I remember watching the news and like, oh, you're just going to prescribe malaria pills? And I was like, it's not that big a deal. I was like, if you take these ones, the blue ones, give you weird dreams. The pink ones, not a big deal. I don't remember what it was called, but like we used to, there's all kinds of stuff that we would just take and be like, yeah, fucking take it. And sometimes we'd be like, hey, you got any more of those? Like, let me get one more.
Yeah.
But I think because of all that time, like I think my adrenal system is just fucked. But I'll do I'm going to do 30 days.
30 days.
I'll do 30 days with you. And if it's going great,
keep on going.
Keep
right?
on going, right? Keep it on.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else where moderation. And I am not I am not good at moderating caffeine. No. And so that's definitely an area of my life where I could use some help and some benefit to rid myself of it. Because I do really think, like you're saying, the adrenal system and that is just something that I haven't given it the time and space to heal properly.
Well, I'm excited to do 30 days with no caffeine, because 30 days carnivore. That didn't pan out so hot for us.
Nailed it. We nailed it.
Yeah, we got that one solid. But 30 days no caffeine, I think we can do that.
I do too. I think it'll be fun.
I don't know about fun.
I'm going to have fun with it. If you want to join us, we're starting in April. It might be when this episode's out, actually. I'm not sure when this one's coming out. So it's probably going to be pretty close to when this one's out.
3 weeks from now.
Yeah. We got a couple episodes in the can. So,
do we?
Yeah.
We got
might be pretty close.
It could be pretty close.
Yeah. So join us April 1st for No Caffeine. We'll come up.
Yeah, it's no good
caffeine
name.
April. Fuck caffeine April.
Such a
get some sleep in April. That's what we're calling
Adrenal April.
There we go. Adrenal healing. It's April. Heal your adrenals in April with us.
If we don't, never mind. I got inappropriate things to say about you playing with my adrenals.
Go subscribe wherever you're listening. Make sure you leave us a review. Thank you for tuning in to Brave Men Dare, and share an episode with a friend. Also, we are interested in interviewing people. So if you've got an interesting story, or you know somebody that you want to hear on the podcast, please reach out. You can find us on any of the social media platforms. Just search out Brave Men Dare. You can also email us at bravemendare@gmail.com. And we do have a website at one point that we'll create and put up when we get around to it. But in the meantime, those are the easiest places to find us. And thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to Brave Men Dare. I love you, buddy.
Love you, brother.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Brave Men Dare. If you haven't yet, take a moment and subscribe to our channel, click that little notification bell, and check out some of these other clips. Last but not least, we'd really appreciate it if you sent this podcast to somebody else. Share it with a friend, share it with a buddy, and don't hesitate to reach out. The conversations that we have on the podcast are meant to inspire you, but also we want to hear what it brings up for you. Whether you share it in the comment, send us an email, or call us up. But thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next episode.